just a review of the SAQ, the short answer question. So you're not going to be able to see me during this, but this is the PowerPoint that I went through today. So, short answer questions. This is a PowerPoint I took from another teacher I thought did a very good job on it. And just a reminder, there's all kinds of resources out there for APUSH. Don't hesitate to go out there and find Quizlets and videos, and it's extremely helpful. And as teachers, we share a ton. So as students, you should be willing to go and get a bunch. So just a quick review of what it's going to look like on the actual AP exam. This is not for my quiz, not for my test that you'll be taking for me, but for the actual AP exam. There are 3 SAQs on the exam. You get a total of 40 minutes. So we typically say, I think, 12 minutes per question. However, as this little gray box says on the side there, some SAQs have analysis or stimulus-based questions. In other words, they'll give you a document or a prompt that's lengthy that you have to respond to. So in those cases, you'll probably want more than 12 minutes. So assess that and do that correctly. But you'll have 3 SAQ questions. So think about 12 minutes per question on the exam. Again, for my test, you're going to have 1 here in period 1. Each SAQ is broken down into 3 tasks. So they'll ask you basically 3 questions or give you 3 prompts. So 3 SAQs with each one having 3 prompts within it. So the one we're going to look at here, briefly explain one example of how you're going to see how that works. Okay. So as we go down there, here's an example from basically period 2, more than period 1. But it says, briefly explain one important similarity between the British colonies in Chesapeake region and the British colonies in New England in the period from 1607 to 1754. Same thing next with should say letter B, it says A, but this is important difference between. And then what should be letter C, explain one factor that accounts for the difference that is indicated in B. So you'll often see this kind of the same prompt, but worded slightly differently between A and B, and then C asking you to explain why that is. Always note, whenever you get any type of prompt on the AP exam, immediately take note of the dates, the time period they're giving you. If you ever go outside of that time period, you won't get credit for the question. And that's a major reason why we learn our timeline, so we have multiple options within a time period. So always circle that right away when you see it, so you don't go outside of it. Okay, we're going to use ACE to answer these. This is what I know Connolly used, so I'd stick with it here. A, you want to answer the question and use a proper noun when you do. C, cite a specific description about your answer, but do not quote. If there is a quote or a prompt or some type of primary source, don't quote it. In general, never quote when you're on the AP exam. In talking with readers, they're instructed, if they see a quote, to draw a line through it and not even read it. So whether it's a DBQ, LEQ, anything, don't quote. Use your own words. Letter E, explain how your answer ties directly back to the prompt and expand your argument. So that's what we're trying to do. You want to answer, cite, and explain when you get to the SAQ. So again, you got 3 SAQs. Each SAQ asks you 3 questions, and for each question, I want you giving 3 responses. Okay, so lots of 3s here. So first of all, answer the question, use a proper noun or specific term. This is key. The proper noun specific term is key. One thing that I'm always doing as a teacher is saying, give me evidence with specific historical terms, people, events. Impress me with your historical vocab. So, A, briefly explain one important similarity between the British colonies and the Chesapeake region. So this is where you'd answer the question. I'll go kind of quickly through the C, cite a specific description. E, explain how your answer ties directly back to the prompt. So we're going to do that and then come down here. Oh, I don't have it shown. I wanted to show it. So let me try to fix this. Stick with me. I apologize. What I had used had the answers right in it. An example I want to go over with you, and I'm afraid it's not going to show up here, is it? So sorry, bear with me. This is not as pretty as I would have liked it to be. Let me see if I can find it for you. All right, this will be better. I'll come down here and do it this way. Okay, so as you can see, you got green, blue, and red here. So A, answer the prompt. Right away, the person or the teacher who put this together wrote, one important similarity between the British colonies in the Chesapeake region, the British colonies in the New England region, that's restating the question, was that they both existed under a system of mercantilism. So answer the question and used a proper noun historical term in it. In this case, restated the question and then used the term mercantilism. Okay? C, which is, let's bounce back here, cite a specific description for it. Mercantilism was the economic system where colonies provided cheap raw goods, which the mother country, England, used to produce and sell manufactured goods. So here she is citing a specific description, not quoting, but is explaining then the proper noun that was used, mercantilism. So answer the prompt with the proper noun, cited a specific description of that proper noun, and then E, back here, explain how your answer ties directly back to the prompt, using as many examples as you can, at least one. She writes, both regions provided resources, with the Chesapeake providing staple crops and New England providing lumber and mining resources. Not lumbar support. They did not provide lumbar support. So this is the ACE form that I want you to follow. I'm going to show it here after I went through it all together. I just want to, again, go back through here. Answer the question, use a proper noun. That's what they did. Restated the question, use mercantilism. Came down here, citing a specific description about the answer without quoting. Sorry about that, moved away from it. Here, explaining then what mercantilism is. And then E, explaining how your answer ties directly back to the prompt, saying, since it says important similarity between the British, saying specifically both regions provided resources, with the Chesapeake providing staple crops and New England providing lumber and mining resources. Okay, so that's the basics of how you write how you answer an SAQ. This is what I want you doing on my test. I'm expecting to see about 9 sentences, so let's just stick with that and answer each one as you go through it. So you'll get that on the test, and that's what I'm expecting as a response. Okay, if you got any questions, let me know.